A resolution has been adopted by the UN General Assembly. The resolution was tabled by Eritrea. Resolution was backed by a group of countries, and during the voting, over 100 countries supported the resolution. Resolution therefore targeted US and Western countries. Welcome to my views and news. Thanks for watching the channel. A resolution drafted by Eritrea and some other countries was adopted by the UN General Assembly a few hours ago. Details in this video. Secondly, we have some updates for you from Iran-Israel war. Let's start with the updates from the Middle East. Donald Trump, the US president, is going to make a big decision. He cut short his participation in G7 summit, which was being held in Canada, and he abruptly left, you can say, or he cut short his visit and he returned to the US a few hours ago. And when he was returning, he said that he had to take care of something important, which led Emmanuel Macron, the French president, to claim that Trump was working for a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. But Donald Trump immediately rejected that assumption by the French president. He said what he was working was something bigger than a ceasefire. Secondly, the US president has warned people of Tehran, asking them to leave the Iranian capital. Yesterday, we heard from Israel. Israel warned District 3 residents of Tehran to leave. Attacks could be conducted there. Trump warning all residents of Tehran to leave. What does it mean? Signs are there that US is preparing to be part of this war. It is preparing to join this war, or it is putting pressure upon Iran, telling Iran to sign the nuclear deal, or the US could join the war. US warships and frigates, aircraft carriers are being mobilized towards the Middle East. Already, aircraft carriers are deployed there. US has military bases there in the Middle East, but more military assets of the US are on the move towards the Middle East. Last night was a very hectic night, reportedly, in the ruling circles in the US. US considering what to do now. Should it join the war to weaken Iran forever? Should it operate through Israel? Should it work for ceasefire? Western countries and some Middle Eastern countries are telling Iran to sign the deal, saying that if Iran does not sign the deal, US could join, and that could be devastating for Iran. So coming out was crucial. Meanwhile, Iran is continuing launch of missiles, and last night Iran launched missiles on Israel in Tel Aviv. At least 2 or 3 impacts were registered. But still, Israel is inflicting more losses on Iran. A senior leader of Iranian military was killed last night in an attack by Israeli Air Force. Shadmani is his name. Major General, a very senior officer. He is the one who was leading Iran's Revolutionary Guards Corps and Iranian military. He was killed in a targeted strike by Israeli Air Force last night. Iran has suffered huge losses in terms of its experienced military officers' deaths, in terms of deaths of its nuclear scientists. Israel's losses have not been confirmed so far. Losses of its officers, losses of military hardware, etc. The Israeli ambassador to US made an interesting remark in an interview, he said that after the dust settles, something surprising is going to happen, like the one which happened in Lebanon, where communication devices exploded, which were being used by Hezbollah. Uh, Israel launched that operation on Thursday night or Friday night. This operation is going to be launched by Israel. That's what Israeli ambassador to US announced. So let's see what happens on Thursday night and Friday night. But something big coming definitely. Israel, US intimidating Iran. Will Iran give in, keeping in view the losses it is suffering, keeping in view more losses it could suffer? Israel wants US to conduct decisive strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities underground, which could be destroyed now, keeping in view that Iran is very weak now. Let's see what happens. Will Iran somehow find support from somewhere and continue fighting back, or will it agree to a ceasefire? Coming out is crucial. US role is very crucial. Now, back to the main news story, which is about an Eritrean initiative to condemn what it has been facing for years. Eritrea faced Western sanctions, US sanctions. During EPRDF era, when EPRDF was in power in Ethiopia, it had good relations with the West and the US. And Eritrea came under sanctions. Eritrea was cut off from SWIFT banking system, still cut off. After 2018, Ethiopia-Eritrea peace deal, sanctions were lifted, but during Tigray war, more sanctions were imposed, targeted sanctions on Eritrean military officers like their military chief. Sophitas Samarium is Eritrean representative at the UN. Representing Eritrea, she submitted a resolution at the UN General Assembly representing a group of countries who call themselves as Group of Friends in Defense of the UN Charter. These countries drafted a resolution led by Eritrea. Resolution was tabled at UN General Assembly a few hours ago. The resolution wants December 4 to be celebrated, to be remembered as Day of Unilateral Coercive Measures. It was put to vote. 116 countries supported it. 51 opposed it. 6 abstained from voting. Resolution passed. It means that now December 4 will be observed as a day of unilateral sanctions, which are imposed by Western countries, by the US, obviously. European countries oppose the resolution. African countries, majority of them supported it. Some abstained from voting. Somalia abstained from voting. Madagascar abstained from voting. Morocco abstained from voting. Majority of African countries supported the resolution. Africa is against unilateral sanctions imposed by the West, by the US. And since Eritrea has been facing these sanctions, that is why Eritrea spearheaded the process of submitting of the resolution. Can we conclude that Eritrea-US relations won't improve, which was being expected a few months ago, that the US-Eritrea relations could improve under Trump government? Firstly, Trump is not interested in Africa. I think he does not care what is happening in Africa. He wants to spend less in Africa. He does not want US money to be spent in Africa. He's not concerned with the humanitarian operations in Africa. He wants to extract as much as he can from other countries. So Africa is not at the center of US foreign policy. Secondly, the recent decisions by the US government indicate that there are not very high hopes of any considerable breakthrough in US-Eritrea relations. US has banned Eritrea and 12 other countries. Their nationals cannot enter the US. And US is considering similar sanctions on other countries. Thank you for watching.